Hello, Samuel. Um, I'm Calvin. I also chose the same ethical dilemma as you did. I went with boy bye because I think that it is more prevalent in today's culture than the other ones are. All of them were easy to see connections to our current society, and it was easy to see the prevalence of them. But I really felt like this one was important, and so I wanted to address it the same way I imagined you did. One thing I really like that you did is when talking about the reason for Amani to do what she did, you mentioned that all individuals deserve to be treated with some level of dignity and respect. And while we understand that not all individuals warrant the same level of respect, just based on how they treat you, I agree that just the fact that they are a person warrants us to treat them with a level of dignity. Maybe not respect, but just us empathizing with them and understanding that they're a person too. I said something very similar in my speech. I said something about how, other people are people too. We often can get so caught up thinking about ourselves and how we feel that we forget how the things we do make other people feel. And other people feel the same way we do. They have emotions and feelings the same that we do. They may not feel it in the exact same way, but they still do have the ability to feel the way that we can sometimes feel. Like when you get ghosted, it hurts your heart physically, and it hurts your head emotionally. It can be really difficult. And thinking about someone else before you make a decision like that can be really healing and helpful. Later on, when doing your refutation, I think that your mention of the rebuttal point that online dating is extremely impersonal by nature and therefore does not hold the same moral obligation is a great point. I never got to really think of it that way, but if someone had never really connected with me in any real way, that it might be a little bit strange for them to reach out and connect with me just to tell me that they won't be connecting with me any further. I would either be like, okay, and not really care if they'd sent me a message or not, which would have been ghosting, or it might make me think like, hey, I really appreciate that. I'm very grateful for that, and best of luck. And that positive interaction could maybe cause Imani to try and stick around, which would be against what we know she originally wanted to do. One thing I think you could have maybe done better was talk more about the reasoning for the morals. You talked about just the morals themselves, but I think talking about the reasoning for having those morals and ethics would be definitely a welcome sight in your presentation. But I think you did a really good job of driving home what your main point was, which was that love and compassion is mandatory, and it's our jobs to treat other people with that love and compassion. The ghosting thing is something that's, seen everywhere. It's probably happened to you. It's happened to me. It happens to so many people, and it doesn't feel good. But if everyone just thought about loving one another first, then things like that wouldn't happen. I think you did a really good job driving home your points of compassion. Thank you, Samuel. Your speech was a pleasure to watch.